Be done with all of these numbers? Well, banks already have bailouts, as does Detroit. So the question tonight, what about the retailers? Not surprisingly, it's the retailers who are asking that question. Here's Joe Johns.
If super sales aren't enough to pry open wallets and purses in the weeks ahead, the nation's retailers have a plan to make it even easier to splurge. They're asking President-elect Obama for a tax holiday, or rather 3 tax holidays, each lasting 10 days in March, July, and October. 30 days where what you see is what you pay. No sales taxes of any kind on just about anything with a price tag. The National Retail Federation says without action, the current economic weakness could worsen, creating a more rapid downward spiral beyond what economists are predicting for 2009. Still, the Retail Federation says the savings to consumers over the 30 tax-free days could be $20 billion, or $175 a family.
Do these things really work? Do they make that much of a difference?
They make a little bit of difference. Historically, they move savings from one period to the other, but usually it just robs Peter to pay Paul. The real piece is going to be the full economic stimulus. That's got to drive the consumer, give them confidence that they can shop once more and really have them out in the stores again.
But if shoppers aren't paying taxes, what happens to state budgets? The retailers are asking the federal government to make up for all the lost state and local tax revenue by dipping into the federal treasury. And retailers aren't the only ones asking the new president and the new Congress for help. The nation's home builders want Congress to pony up $250 billion in tax credits for home buyers, up to $22,000 a buyer, nearly 3 times what Congress approved this summer. The home builders' plan is also wrapped up in a shiny pitch called Fix Housing First. Christmas may be over, but the wish lists for the new administration are only getting longer.
But, Joe, I want to be clear here. This money that the home builders would be asking for, are they asking for part of the bailout money Congress had already approved, or are they actually looking for new bailout money?
Answer is new money, Erica. The home builders want this money to be taken out of the big economic stimulus plan that the Obama administration is expected to put in as soon as they come into power. What they're arguing is the housing is the real problem here, so the Obama administration can address it, they say, by stimulating new home sales. They get a lot of pushback on that because so many people have been led to believe that what started all of this was not a housing problem but a mortgage problem, toxic subprime mortgages. And still, though, there's no question the home building industry is certainly suffering, Erica.
And as you mentioned at the end of your piece there, Joe, about the wish list that is growing. What's the word in Washington? What is the thinking there? Because obviously there are only so many industries who can benefit from this, who can get help. Choices have to be made.
Sure, and there's basically bailout fatigue here in Washington. A lot of people on Capitol Hill are saying we can't bail out every single industry that comes to us for help. You sort of have to look at it and try to decide which one of these industries you've got to save, or else it's going to make the economy much, much worse, and try to do it in a piecemeal fashion. It's a real challenge for the Obama administration and also for the people up on Capitol Hill. You know, and there are some people up on Capitol Hill who will say, don't come to me talking right now about tax cuts. We need to increase revenue. So there's that issue, too.
Boy, tough decisions to make all around. Thankfully for us, Joe, we don't have to make them. We just tell people about them. Joe, stick around. Joe, Ed Henry, and David Gergen all going to join us in a bit to talk about how this latest batch of bad news is affecting President-elect Obama's economic rescue plan. Also,